Hello and welcome to Good Game, the show for gamers, by gamers. I'm Junglist.
And I'm Kapowski.
It's a truly monster show for you today.
It sure is. It's not officially released in Australia till next year, but we get our hands on it. PlayStation 3.
And some of the new games with it.
Ruffle Cup is back. We take 4 of our forum goers and pit Team Kapowski
against Team Junglist in an Age of Empires 3 battle for bragging rights.
We also take a masterclass in the most popular online game of them all, CounterStrike Source, with the Godfather himself, Whisper.
And if that wasn't enough for you, we meet the team behind and review the latest Spyro, A New Beginning.
But first, here's Gamers News.
Good game! Constant internet vandalism has been cited as the reason Wikipedia have locked pages related to the Sony PlayStation 3 and Nintendo Wii. Wikipedia allows users to edit entries at any time. However, unusual activity involving several biased entries on the next-gen consoles forced them to put on hold their usual policy.
A new competitive online role-playing game named Fury has been announced. This is the first MMORPG to be developed entirely by an Australian team. The game features a mix of RPG and FPS elements and focuses on player versus player combat. Fury will be released in late 2007.
This week, we'll look at audio. Having sound is an essential part of gaming now, as there are auditory clues to the location of enemies, game events, and alerts. For most gaming, a set of 5.1 speakers will do the job nicely, giving you surround sound for positioning and a sub for depth. Ideally, you should spend around $400 for a decent system. Buying cheap speakers will just result in frustration. That said, a good pair of headphones is the only way to go for serious gamers who need pinpoint accuracy for locating noise in-game. If you want to save some money on speakers, buy a set of $200 headphones and some low-powered speakers for around $150. With this setup, you can use your headphones when you need precision, or use your speakers when you just want to listen to some music or watch a DVD. As for a sound card, well, the quality of onboard audio included with motherboards is reasonable enough that you won't need a dedicated sound card unless you're a bit of an audiophile. If that's the case, go for something good. Don't cheap out and get a card that gives poor output. Sound cards are installed in the same way as graphic cards. Gently insert the sound card into the slot in the computer, then screw down the bracket at the rear. Next week we'll look at cooling. Should you use the stock cooler or a third-party cooler? We'll also show you how to install water cooling.
Okay gamers, can you name this game?
This week's a bit different. We've got a work experience noob, and he's gonna act it out for us.
That's right. How you doing down there, Joe?
Hey guys.
Do your thing, Joe.
Oh man, do I have to?
Do it!
Name this game. Answer at the end of the show. Well, we're here at my house. No, not really. We're here at Sony HQ checking out the PlayStation 3. Jung, tell us the game we're about to play.
Right now we're checking out Layer, and we're gonna check out a few other games as well. Let's take a look.
Sony have told us that this game really complements the axis movement or the motion controllers inside the controller. You can move it, tilt it forward, backwards, left, right. You'll actually control your dragon and respond to the actions.
It doesn't measure in 3D space or acceleration like the Wii controller, but it is a lot more responsive.
The controller also is charged by a USB cable from the PlayStation 3. You can hook up 4 controllers that we can see here. We're only using one, of course. One thing we did notice when we were picking up the controller, it is a lot lighter than the PlayStation 2, the predecessor, mainly because it hasn't got the rumble pack inside it anymore, but it does have the whole motion sensor thing happening for it. So what are you feeling right now there, Jung? How do you like it?
Well, the graphics on this game are insane, Layer that we're playing right now, and you can see the graphics potential is very high. It's just going to depend what the developers do with it. And it's probably going to take them a bit of time to realize the full potential of the system and work out how best to use the hardware.
Well, what we've done, we've changed the game. This is a disc that was in there before, and it's a Blu-ray disc. This can actually fit up to 50 gigabytes on a single disc, and this is a technology that the PlayStation 3 uses. So the different games have different options. You can just use a normal joystick. For this one, that's what you need to do. You can't actually move it, unlike the other game we were playing before.
That's cool, I was getting tired anyway.
Whoa! Okay. That's pretty spectacular. Well, this is Resistance Fall of Man, and it's a FPS game for the PlayStation 3.
And you know what FPS means? It means hand it over. Thank you, sir. Well, I gotta say the gameplay's quite linear so far, and it's suffering from some cliche cutscenes and sequences, but as with everything else we've seen today, the graphics create such an immersive experience, it's hard not to get into it, and the enemies seem pretty imaginative. I'm hoping there's a bit more than walk into an area and trigger a sequence. It kind of reminds me of Quake meets Medal of Honor, to be honest.
I don't know, it looks like Halo to me, just set in 1950s. Now that was fun.
Oh, yeah. Now, the version of the PS3 we just checked out was near retail, but not fully retail, and the games we were playing were code from the Tokyo Game Show. But still, I walked away from that really impressed. How about you?
I was very satisfied as well. I was immersed in the gameplay. The graphics were just absolutely awesome. It just feels like you're in a movie and you're controlling it.
Exactly, and I gotta think, the Wii's offering more in terms of innovative gameplay, but I think the hardware might hold it back, just thinking far off down the future, whereas the PS3 hardware is gonna last. Far off down the future, developers are still gonna be figuring out how best to utilize the system.
Sony have invested a lot of money into this Blu-ray technology, and I must say, it really does complement the games. When I was playing MotorStorm, I crashed my car a couple of times, and the brakes fall off. You can see inside the bonnet of the car, you can see the front strut bars and the brakes cross-drilled, slotted, everything. It's just so detailed.
That layer game was awesome as well, making good use of the 6-axis motion sensors. Flying is really cool in that, but then we checked out that Resistance Fall of Man game, and I didn't really see too much new there. Kind of an example of how, no matter how good your hardware is, you still need to do your research and find good games to play.
It's got lots of multimedia and technical options as well. It's good that they left themselves open for any home setup.
But here's the golden question. The cheaper version of the PS3, the 20GB version, will be priced at $829.95. In my opinion, they kind of priced themselves out of the market for some people. Do you think it's worth the cash?
Absolutely. But when I say lots of cash, you need to have enough money for a decent HD TV, a decent surround sound system, and a decent coffee table to throw your feet up while you're playing.
I couldn't have put it better myself. If you have plenty of cash, then give it a go. The PS3 is bringing technology to the table, which is future-proof. The Nintendo is bringing innovative gameplay to the table, whereas the 360 has a head start on the rest of the market. So, either way, this console war is going to be great. The PS3 is still a couple of months down the track, but it's looking hot.
Let the war begin.
Yeah, man, I think it's about time we did a CounterStrike Masterclass.
Nah, don't waste your time. We both know what Counter-Strike players are like.
Ooh, yeah. He's elite Counter-Strike player. He's been playing since Beta 1. He plays without a crosshair and only on LAN. He has over 150 groupies in his IRC channel, all asking to have his babies. He's a Counter-Strike player.
Nah, Whisper's cool, he'll do it right.
All right, have fun.
Whisper,
Junglist,
what is this place?
sit down.
All right, Whisper, for those who have been living in a hole and don't know what CounterStrike is, can you tell us about it?
Counter-Strike is a game where it's a team-based first-person shooter, FPS. Different teams get different types of weapons and basically try and kill each other.
And if you want to start getting competitive in Counter-Strike, what should you look for?
Well, first of all, you need to get good at online Counter-Strike. Play pub servers. If you're really good and you don't cheat, you'll get invited by people to join their teams, which those teams then compete in online competitions. And then from there, you progress onto more serious competitions, which are LANs. You need to have good aim. you need to be able to use sound, and you need to be able to make quick tactical decisions based on the information that's presented in front of you. So you can then back up your teammates and help them out to try and complete the objective.
Show us a few tricks. How do you crouch jump?
All right, come to somewhere like here and you just try and jump, you'll never make it. So what you need to do is you need to time your crouch jump so it works and you get on.
You press crouch after you press jump.
Yes, that's correct. One of the most important things about Counter-Strike that most people don't understand is they don't keep the crosshairs at head height. They run around like this, with their crosshairs pointing at the ground. The whole point is you shouldn't be relying on your reflexes to save you having to move your crosshair all the time. You need to be able to have it pointed in the direction that the enemy is going to be popping out.
And how would you suggest getting good at all the different guns? Because they all have a different sort of recoil pattern, is that right?
Yep, that's one of the main purposes of pub play, is to actually go into a pub server where it doesn't matter how good or bad you do, you play it until you get very good at using the particular guns, and also how to control the recoil, how long it takes to reload, all its attributes.
How important is throwing nades well in a war?
The good clans know how to use their nades effectively, and they know how to take an entire site without actually having to kill anything, unless of course it's with a grenade. You need to know how to use them and when to use them, and not be caught holding one out when the enemy comes around the corner.
Can you show us some good nade throws?
Well, what you can do is you can bounce grenades off walls, like this, throw them over the top of objects. The important thing to note is being able to throw your flashes so you're doing it in cover. As soon as you show yourself against a good player who's already in position that you haven't put under any pressure, you're going to die. This is throw down the middle smoke grenade. Also, you can flash long here if you do it early enough. And this will blind anyone who's standing in this area.
Now you've got the bomb. Now, when you plant the bomb here, what should you do to cover it best?
So what you need to do is pick a good location. This is one of the best locations for planting the bomb here at A.
Once the bomb's planted there, where should you go to cover it?
Obviously, you can come down to long A here. One player can hold off almost an entire team from this position if they're good enough. Communication is the other most important thing in Counter-Strike when you're playing competitively. You must communicate with your teammates effectively. You need to call the position and the numbers, and preferably what sort of weapons they've got as well, and also what their disposition is. If they're rushing, then you need to say they're rushing. But if they're just going to a certain position, but they're only sort of just holding that position, well, you need to communicate that.
There's two with AKs pushing forward at A.
Exactly. Competitive play, it's very important to have tweaked up settings, but it's not going to make a big difference to the overall play. It's not going to drag you from the bottom of the scoreboard to the top of the scoreboard overnight. What you need to do is actually train your opponent to think that your real strat is a fake. In one round, you do your opening of your proper strat. So you throw a smoke grenade in one section, another smoke grenade in another section, but then you go to the opposite bomb site. So then in the next round, regardless of what happened, you go and you do your real strat. Obviously, you need to have more than one strat.
Thanks very much for helping me out, man. I'm gonna go try this stuff out. I'll see you online.
Good luck.
Good game. And the winner for the best review on the forums goes to... Good game.
Whoa, smoke it.
Well, fire breathing is not all that you can do in this game. The Legend of Spyro: A New Beginning is a third-person, or should I say a third-dragon view game aimed at a younger audience. It was developed by Chrome Studios in Brisbane, and this is what they had to say when they caught up with us.
It did start out actually sort of quite a challenge, and has continued to be a challenge to sort of maintain the integrity of what Spyro is. We had to keep, ensure that the fan base behind it was still behind it, irrespective of whatever changes we made.
For us, it has to be fun. We've had some tanties between each other about whether or not something was fun or whether it was working.
Controllers have been thrown across the floor.
Yeah.
We've sought to determine how we can sort of generate this unique experience and play actually along with the kids, you know, who are effectively the people that are going to be playing this game.
The game features the voices of Elijah Wood, Gary Oldman, and David Spade.
And they did a good job here. I mean, there's a lot of humorous cutscenes that help move the story along. It kind of feels like a Disney animation.
Ugh, now I smell almost as bad as you do. And that's pretty bad. See you later, sucker!
So much for gratitude.
Well, not surprisingly, you do spend the first couple of levels learning how to use Spyro's skills. It's got a very easy learning curve for younger players, I guess.
I found it repetitive. I mean, they kind of tried to mix it up with the air melee combat, but it would have benefited from more unique scenarios.
Let me out of here and fight me like a thing, whatever you are. You pathetic wretch.
I've had about enough of you!
Sparks, look out! No!
I disagree. I think the game was mixed up enough. What I didn't like was once Spyro did learn how to fly, you couldn't fly when you wanted to. You had to wait for the game to allow you to do it.
One thing that was pretty cool is that once you get into a combo, you go into sort of Matrix mode. I like that. Also, the puzzles in game were quite good. And how about those catapults, eh? But let's talk chickens.
Well, I think the game was very well done. You could tell there's a lot of passion behind the game development process. Also, the learning curve was very easy to get into, so younger players are going to enjoy the game. I also like the fact that games are still being produced for the PlayStation 2, and they're pushing the PlayStation 2 to the limits, even though the PlayStation 3 is around the corner. So I'm going to give it 8 out of 10 shooks. How about you, Jungie?
Yeah, I'm going to have to give it 8 out of 10 as well. I mean, it's one for the kiddies, but also a very enjoyable, very well-made game.
Good game!
Hello there. Enough of me, somebody else. That's right, Tom. I'm not you. I'm somebody else. I'm standing in front of other people who aren't you either. They seem to be happy. Maybe because they've been watching The Team. Previously on The Team.
Like a gun?
No.
And we just met Ivan, who is an undercover cop, who also likes to talk to the ladies who you pay for the fun times.
Do you like raisin toast?
Today we've got the second last of our key characters we've been introducing. A strapping 6'4" sapling of a man, comes straight from Guatemala on the overnight express from Guatemala. Meet Virginia!
Hello all. My God, we are all a sexy bunch of men, aren't we?
That's an unusual name, Virginia.
I am a woman!
Sorry?
Whoa, sorry. I say things sometimes. Ooh, I like chicks. They're great. Not men. Don't like men. Nope. So, what's new?
Well, I have just discovered that I love to eat marshmallows dipped in honey. I call them sweet pillows.
Oh my God. I love them too. Except I call them white yellows, because that is a manly name.
That's right. Virginia is a woman pretending to be a man. And it seems that Virginia has immediately developed an interest in Simon. This sounds a lot like Twelfth Night. Shakespeare? Girl dresses up as a man after a shipwreck. Other woman falls in love with her. Hijinks ensue. Alright, how about the Amanda Bynes film She's the Man?
The film where a girl joins a boys' soccer team and falls in love with a man.
Hey, earlier, Simon, when you made that shot for goal, you looked really good. Do you ever wear tights?
Thanks, but no. Why do you ask?
I am a woman!
You should really get that whole shouting out, I'm a woman thing looked at, because it could be malignant.
Uh-oh. Looks like our girl's in trouble with her own mouth. Hope she doesn't get a spanking from her lips, or a tongue lashing. Fortunately, here's Ivan to kind of save the day.
Do you guys like the trapeze?
Right, so let's recap. Ivan is now spying on Simon. He now also suspects that Virginia may be filtering money to illegal circuses. Virginia has feelings for Simon. Virginia thinks that perhaps Ivan is another girl dressed up as a man, and he is also keen on Simon. So now Simon thinks 2 men are coming onto him. So what will happen next week? Maybe we'll give you money. Probably not. Next week, I find love.
Is that really that necessary? I'm trying to own some noobs here.
Man, this thing is collecting dust. Besides, you're the one that's gonna get owned when this thing's hooked up.
When are we supposed to give it away?
3 days, end of this week. All the details on how to enter the competition are on our site. Guess what I got?
Oh, fan mail. Box of roses?
Yeah.
Carry on my wayward son.
Guitar Hero 2.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
In episode 6, Good Game talked to the developers behind Guitar Hero 2. If you missed it, you can still download the interview off our site. But now that it's here, we gotta rate it. In my opinion, this has everything the first one was missing.
It's got practice mode so you can slow the track down. It's also got multiplayer, so your friend can take bass and you can take the lead guitar. Now that everyone knows what Guitar Hero is all about, it's got a slew of big-name bands on board.
It's pretty much 100% rock music, and it's arguable whether or not they would have benefited from more variety here. But, all in all, I really like this game, and I'm gonna have to give it Good Game's first 10 out of 10 rubber chickens.
Wow, that good. Well, I really felt that the game could have benefited from a short track option. I mean, the last track was like 10 minutes long, but still very good game. I'm gonna give it 9 out of 10.
Good game.
Now, on the Good Game forums, you've requested for us to pick a few posters to help us out with our next Ruffle Cup.
You've also requested to see us verse each other.
So we picked 4 applicants to help us out in a 3 versus 3 Age of Empires 3 match. The Gamester guys are standing by and they're ready to commentate. Our teams are ready. Shall we get down to business?
Yeah, I hope you're ready for my French villager rush.
Tonight for the Ruffle Cup, we are competing in Age of Empires 3. It is 3-on-3 action. Match well and truly underway now. We're about a minute into the game here, and the teams are just picking up and building their resources, things like
the hunters go out, the wood choppers gather the wood.
All teams starting off in the Discovery Age.
Just looking at the overview of the map, we've got a key feature there right up the top middle, EJ.
Yes, it's the water feature. Now, as we all know, fishing is the fastest way to get your food resources up within Age of Empires 3, and it's going to be a huge bun fight up on the lake, Bob. 4 minutes and 11 seconds on the clock, and we have our first player reaching the Colonial Age, Bob, and that was Kapowski, first player. Good game. Host there, Slim Shady the Rusher here. He's got his cavalry out early, the Cav, as they like to be known, Bob. And look at this, what have we got here?
Speeder is not going to be caught napping. He has got hell of a lot of stretlets happening, making their way up towards Piker Boy and Slim Shady. They do outnumber them.
7 minutes down in the game. Junglist is the ultimate epitome of a boomer, Bob. He's still back in the first age, the Discovery Age.
I think he needs to be off having a drink, EJ.
I think he needs to discover what Age of Empires 3 is about. And he's going to be suffering with Kapowski, dishing it out to him fairly soon. Here comes Slim Shady, though. He's having to send some troops in to back up Kapowski and cause a bit of havoc for the poor guy, and that is Speeder. And it's the cavalry coming in now into his town. You don't want to push too far into the town, Bob. You start taking fire from the TC, the town centre, and that's not good for you. Musketeers firing on the cavalry now at 8 minutes and 1 second in the match down.
Slim Shady's had to pull out of there. Piker Boy's now defending Kapowski. Kapowski's up there getting the fish, getting those quick resources. He's the only one fishing at the moment.
Junglist has joined everyone in the Colonial Age now, so welcome to the 21st century Junglist. Oh, Junglist has got some troops out, Bob.
And here we go, Slim Shady roaming the map with his Hussar. He is attacking any settler his eyes come across, and there is Kuvade settlers that are under trouble, as well as Speeder up by the harbour.
And here comes Kuvade flooding in with the defence now, Bob. But he's seen the other army come across as well, and he's backed out. He's going to get his troops together.
Oh, Kuvade's coming up from the south. They're going to get pincered.
12 minutes, 26 seconds on the clock, and it looks like Team Kapowski's fleeing from the battle, Bob. All right, so we got the Minutemen have joined the battle now. Kuvade's Minutemen plus the Stretlets plus the Longbowmen taking on the Hussar Cavalry and also the Longbowmen for Piker Boy, Bob. And it's a slaughter here at the moment.
It is massive at the moment, mate. It does not look good for the Huzzah from Slim Shady.
Oh, no, they're gone.
He's down to one. He's gone. He's lost his army. Piker Boy last man standing. But there are a lot of Speeder and Kuvade armies left alive, and now Piker Boy has to leave the field of battle.
All right, here we are, 16 minutes and 3 seconds on the clock, Bob. And what's this? Junglist is destroying Piker Boy's buildings at the moment.
Yeah, he is tacking at Piker Boy's barracks at the moment. They are under heavy fire.
Kapowski's actually sent some troops in there to help out Piker Boy's buildings, and it has forced Junglist to turn his attention to Kapowski's troops. We got the naval battle underway here. 18 minutes and 58 seconds have elapsed in the game. And boy, oh boy, the fishing fleet from Piker Boy, it's taking more strikes than a box of matches at the moment, Bob. Yeah, it's all about resource starving. Once you can starve your enemy out of his resources and get your village going well. And look at this, we got Junglist bringing in the big guns now. He's got the veteran Stretlets, he's got the artillery, and he's attacking the barracks of the Piker Boy, Bob. And Piker Boy does not want to lose his barracks at this stage of a map. Here comes Slim Shady's Huzzah! And they come pushing in. It's going to be glorious carnage.
Junglist moves the bulk of his army out of the way. He's left a couple of veteran Stretlets there, and the Huzzahs jump on them and carve them up really quickly.
And at this stage of the game, Bob, 20 minutes into the match, I got to say, Team Junglist is starting to look the more dominant force on the map. And we're going to see the naval battle to rival the Napoleonic Age. Piker Boy's just turned his ships to the side. Cannons are out. Cannons are firing. And we have Piker Boy taking on Speeder.
Because it only takes 1 or 2 shots
from
these big ships.
The fishing boats are going down. Now, there are 5 trading posts on the map. 3 are currently held by Team Junglist. Only 2, both held by Slim Shady at the moment.
The naval battle's happening right up outside of Dockside at the moment, because that is all that's pretty much left for Team Kapowski. They need to defend this, and Slim Shady, he's just resigned out the game. They've taken out too much of his resources. He's realised that's it, I've lost the bulk of my army.
Piker Boy's resigned as well, Bob. That's it, the game's over. Team Junglist has taken out Team Kapowski here in the Ruffle Cup. What awesome Age of Empires 3 action.
So did you get the name of the game for this week? It was Age of Empires, of course, a popular RTS game developed back in 1997 by Ensemble Studios.
Next week, we'll be taking a look at how real-life companies are moving into Second Life.
I'll be meeting a PhD grad whose hobby is making models of his favourite in-game characters.
Plus, we've got a Call of Duty 2 Masterclass, and we check out Gears of War.
Don't forget to visit our forums. Leave us a message or review.
If you write the best review of the week, you win a Sexy Good Game t-shirt.
Kapowski out.
Junglist out.